Hello, sisters. Welcome to the Sacred Medicine Podcast, weaving powerful, soulful practices into functional medicine. Step into this beautiful space of devotion and explore everything from nurturing foods, rituals, sexuality, and awakening your innate sensuality. It is time to own your radiance. This is the Sacred Medicine Podcast. Welcome back to another week of the Sacred Medicine Podcast. I am your host, Margaret Romero, and today, I just want to talk to you a little bit about coping through this time. It's been a year of tragedies and deaths, fear, anxiety, and I wanted to just share some of the things that I do so as to maybe help you or encourage you to not live in fear. Do not let the news rob you of living your life. And I know that's easier said than done, because what does the news tell you? It tells you to stay home, to quarantine, to stay 6 feet away, to not see your family, to not go outside. There's just so much fear. And so I want to share with you some of the things that I do that actually has kept me feeling day in and day out. I do not have fear. I do not feel anxious. And one of the biggest things that I do, actually not do, is I do not watch the news. I do not wake up first thing in the morning. This is such a common thing for a lot of people. It's never been my thing, is that people wake up from bed and the first thing they do is they turn on the TV, see what horrible thing is now happening. Can you imagine what that's doing to your nervous system? It's stress. Like, that's how you're starting out your day, is that you're stressed now. Oh my God, more deaths. You find this number of cases, increasing cases. And that's one of the things I do not do. I do not allow that into my life. I'm informed in other ways, but I don't need to know how many deaths. I don't know if you know this, but I do have my business, functional medicine practice, but I also work part-time at an urgent care setting. I'm ER trained nurse practitioner. So I work a couple of days at urgent care, and we see COVID patients. People come in, they want to be tested. A few of them are positive per day. Every day it's a little different as to the number of people that are positive, but I'm around it. I'm in the same building. I'm under the same roof as these people. And I walk in there. I do not have this overwhelming fear that comes over me. I do not. My office is not right next door to where the testing is. It's down the hall. But even so, people don't even want to walk outside and walk on the street because they think they're going to get something that's in the air. That's not true, by the way. When I go for a walk and I go for a hike across the street from my home, I don't wear a mask when there's nobody around me. I just don't. There's 6 feet. There's nobody. So I don't wear my mask. I don't live in this fear, in this bubble of fear of like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I work with people who are positive, and I'm around staff that are in direct contact every single day with COVID positive patients. Just last week, we had 3 employees that I see every time I work, that I did see the day before, and the following day, I think it was 2 days before I had been around them. The following day, I heard that 3 of them had tested positive. I went in, I tested, I was negative, and that's not stopping me from working there. I guess it comes with the territory. Every healthcare provider, there's always a potential risk, right? But I don't live in fear over it. And I'm more exposed than probably the majority of the people that are listening to this podcast right now. So number one thing I do is I don't watch the news, because I don't care about the numbers, because all I care about is my body and how can I be well? How can I support my body that my immune system is really strong. Because if your immune system is strong, you won't necessarily get this virus. I mean, so I do what I talk about. I take my supplements. I make sure that I sleep well. It's a given. I make sure that I am getting enough rest per night. And I eat very well. I don't eat takeout. I mean, takeout as in, I can't remember the last time I had takeout. But I don't eat fast foods. That's what I meant. I don't eat fast foods. And I'd say literally 98% of what I eat is what I cook. I cook at home. And I get top quality food, mostly organic, grass-fed beef. And I don't eat things like cereal with GMO in it and glyphosate. I just don't put those things in my body. I have a little infrared sauna mat that I lay on almost every night. It's a little mini detox. Keeps my body from working well and efficiently. So, all right, so that's some of the things that I do. Also, supplements. I don't know how many times I've spoken about this. At least these three. If you want to know how to stay well during this time, these three supplements: vitamin C in the form of ascorbic acid, 1,000 milligrams once a day. Zinc, 15 to 30 milligrams once a day with food. Vitamin D3, 5,000 IUs. Now, majority of docs out there say, oh my God, 5,000. No, only do 1,000. 1,000 in the middle of winter when most people are deficient, in the middle of a pandemic, is not enough. 1,000 IUs is just not enough. The best approach to vitamin D3 is to get your blood work first, see where your levels are. You need to be at least 40, 50, okay, around that range. If you have an autoimmune condition, that number better be between 60 and 80. It better be. So you don't want to take, an exorbitant amount because you think better, more is better. Because you can get to a level that's too much. But I think 5,000 in the middle of a winter to keep you well, especially if you're traveling on a plane, yeah. You want to make sure that you don't get every little thing that's floating around in the air, All right, next thing, hydration. Really easy. But you know what? So many people don't drink enough water. Why is that? You need to have, so the calculation is this. Whatever your weight is, half that, and that's the amount of water you need to consume. Now, sometimes people are like, oh my God, that's a lot. Okay, at the minimum, I'd say 60 to 70 ounces of fluid per day, at the minimum. If you're working out, if you're sweating, if you're in the sauna, if you're in the steam room, which most places, gyms, the steam room's not open, then a little more. But some people are like, oh, I just had a glass this morning with my, whatever medications or pills. And then I had 2 cups of coffee. And then maybe I had some later on. That's not enough, people. No, you need to be hydrated. Your body functions better that way. The less water you drink, also the more likelihood you will be constipated. And that's the last thing you want to be. Constipated, because all the toxins are still inside. Your body, is trying to flush out toxins through your stool, through your urine. You want to make sure that stuff gets out of your body. If you're constipated, chronically constipated, there is a possibility that the toxins that are in your intestines trying to get out, they may start to be reabsorbed. You don't want this. It's not optimal. What normal bowel movement is going every day, once to twice a day, every single day. So I want to, encourage you to know that. And if you're not going every day, that toxins are just building in your system. And so make sure that you're going. If you need a stool test, reach out to a functional medicine provider, naturopath, and figure it out. Get to the bottom of it. Most of the time, I will tell you, almost 100, I don't know if I want to say 100% of the time, maybe 80 to 90% of the time, anybody that's got digestive issues, their immune system's not right. Or every person with an autoimmune issue, guess what? Has digestive issues 100% of the time, at least the patients that I have treated. But how many times has your rheumatologist said, oh, how's your digestion? Do you have any gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation? I bet you almost never, because they're just concerned about putting you on prednisone and Cellcept and all kinds of things to quiet down symptoms. And certainly, if you're in a crisis, that's necessary. But to consider that a lifelong treatment, no. We need to find out what's going on. Why? What triggered this autoimmune condition to begin with? And that's why I friggin' love functional medicine, because that's what I do. I find triggers. What are the triggers? I love it. Do you know how much I love reviewing lab work? Oh my gosh. I could just do it day and night. I swear. Okay. So eating good food, sleeping well, taking some supplements, drinking enough water. All right, let's talk about self-care a little bit. People who are highly stressed, it affects your digestion. It creates inflammation because your cortisol levels are elevated. You know what else cortisol that's elevated does? It causes aging. And why do you think that so many women do fillers and Botox? It's because high stress. And that's part of the reason. So the more stress you have, the more your body breaks down, the more susceptible you are to infections, to viruses. What creates stress? Watching the news. I mean, I would never start my day by turning on the TV watching what horrible things are happening in the world. I would love if somebody could create, I've thought about this for years, if someone could create a news station that was only for good news. And you'd wake up and be like, oh my gosh, look at what that person did for the other person. That's amazing. Or wow, look at that person pull through this, whatever it was, accident that they underwent or major surgery. And they, like the doctor said, they have like a 1% chance of living. And they totally lived and they're rocking their life right now. Like I would love, if that were the type of news that was on, I'd watch that. That would be the very first thing that I would watch. But are you kidding? I would never I have never once, I can't remember the last time I've turned on, oh no, I lie. I did turn the TV on in the very beginning of COVID when Cuomo was on like at 11 o'clock in the morning in New York talking about what's going on because I was so interested. But now, honestly, I don't care what he has to say. So, because it's not going to affect, you're not going to put fear into me. I'm sorry. Because I'm not going to let you stress me out. I'm not going to let you affect my hormones. I'm not going to let you affect my cortisol. I'm not going to let you affect my aging process. So no, news is not allowed within my realm of anywhere. My home, which is my sanctuary, and that just I just don't allow it. That type of negativity, I do not allow into my sanctuary of a home. My home is my sanctuary. It's a place that I love. I love to be. I love to spend. I love to cook. It's where I pray. It's where I meditate. It's where I visualize. I journal. It is not a place that I will turn on the TV. I will watch in the evening, maybe a little Netflix. That's it. So that was my other point. Let's talk about self-care because you're watching that TV, your stress level is going up. You may not think so, but it is. Absolutely. Because it's feeding the fear. And then you go outside and you're like so terrified, right? I know so many of you that are listening to this, right? If you could put a word to the fear, you're terrified. What kind of life is that to live? No. Stop watching the news. Okay, next thing. I love journaling because you write down your thoughts, you get it out. You get it out of your body. You journal it. Write down some gratitudes. Like what are you grateful for? I mean, 1, you're alive. Number 2, you have a roof over your head. You have food in the fridge. All right? Your friends, maybe you can't see them. Connect with them. That was my other thing too. Connect with your friends. May not be able to see them. Call them. Zoom with them. I know. Zoom, as much as we hate that we have to, rely on technology, it's there. It's useful right now during this time. Take advantage of it. Skype, FaceTime. That's all available to us. And a lot of parts of the world do not have that. They don't even know what any of this technology is that we are so grateful to have. So many things to be grateful for, honestly. So, journaling. Love it. Do it. Do it either in the morning, do it before bed. I think it's a perfect time to do it. Write down your gratitudes. Some of the things that you're feeling, write it down. Get it out of your system. And then for your friends and family, aside from loving them up, maybe try to see them. Maybe you have to get tested before seeing them. It's okay. Go get tested. Just get tested. I get tested almost every week. So I see my parents every week. And I have my parents. Trust me, I have my parents on all the supplements, on all the anti-COVID supplements. So they're good to go. And I trust it. And they eat great. And I mean, the reason why I'm such a good cook is because my mom is such a good cook. I grew up with supplements. Like my mom is a healthy cook. She takes her supplements. So I grew up with that around me. Healthy foods, all of that. My brother, on the other hand, a different story. But okay. And all right, let's talk about self-care. I keep getting off topic. Okay, self-care. What are you doing to love yourself today? What have you done this whole week to love yourself? How are you showing your body that you love yourself? For me, I cook really well. I nourish my body. But aside from cooking, and then obviously we talked about sleep. Because at night is when your adrenals repair. Your body repairs. You need sleep, people. No, 3 or 4 hours is not enough. And maybe it's your adrenals. You should get those tested. Get some saliva testing if that's the case. Don't just medicate. Figure out what's going on. Find someone that can help you with that. Trust me, I'm sorry to say, it's not conventional medicine. It's not conventional medicine. Because they'll just prescribe you, all of these medications that, Ambien and things like that, which, do you know how many times I've heard people who take Ambien have died because they have, and you know how many times I've heard this story? Get this. They have walked out of balconies. They don't remember. They don't even know what they're doing. It's affecting them in such a way that they are falling out of patios. Like if they live in a building, they walk out and they crawl over their railing and they plunge to their death unknowingly. Ambien has some side effects, and I don't particularly like that drug. I don't put my patients on that drug. I figure out, why aren't you sleeping? Let's see what's going on. Let's see what your adrenals are. Let's see what they look like. So let's go back. How are you nourishing yourself? And what are you doing? Are you taking some time to just some quiet time to read or to do some hobby that you've neglected? Have you taken time to sit in a nice bath? with some essential oils or some bath salts. Like what have you done for yourself? You need to make sure that you're incorporating these things. This is such a weird time for everyone. This is something that we've never encountered before in our lives. And we need to give our bodies extra support during this time. So I do baths. Cooking for me is an outlet. It is not a stressor. So when I cook, what do? I usually light a candle that smells great. I will either put on some music or I will put on a podcast that I love. It's usually not one of business because I just don't want to hear, because then I'm like really in business mode, and I don't want to be in business mode when I am cooking. So it's either some music. You should just see me dancing around the kitchen. Or it's a podcast. I tell you, one of my favorite podcasts is Crime Junkie. I don't know how many of you have listened to Crime Junkie, but yes, I do. And I don't get to listen to it that much because I do listen to a lot of business podcasts, honestly. And when I'm cooking, I just kind of want to zone out on the business since I'm doing that all day. And so Crime Junkie is, and I also put it on when I clean. So I listen to Crime Junkie when I'm cleaning or when I am cooking. So the 2 times. And that's it. So I want you to think about this. I want you to here, I'm going to give you a recap. So if you're listening and you want to write this down, don't do it if you're driving though. I want you to reach out to your friends or family. I need for you to connect with them and love on them. Hydrate. Journal. I want you to supplement. 3 easy supplements, okay? Just, if you have kidney issues though, if you're in renal failure, no vitamin C for you, okay? Journal. Eat really good. Nourish your body. Grass-fed, everything, and as much organic as you can. Particularly organic foods with things that you won't be peeling. So things like banana, avocado, where you're not going to be consuming the skin. It's okay. All right. You can't do organic for that. I'm okay with it. But things where you are actually eating the skin, peaches, apples, all the berries. Yeah. Pears. I would say, yes. Can you try to do organic with those? Lemons, not so much because you're not consuming the peel unless you're juicing. If you're juicing lemons, yeah. If you're going to juice, everything needs to be organic. You don't want to juice pesticides and then drink it. That doesn't make sense. So if you're going to juice, everything has to be organic, no matter what. Okay, and the last thing is, what are you doing for yourself? I want you to write at least 3 things that you can do. No, 3 isn't enough. Hold on a second. I want you to write down like 5 things that you can pick. Pick one thing every day, and maybe you're gonna wait at the end of the day to do this. Whether, you know what, I've stopped reading. I'm gonna take up reading, and rather than watching TV at night, I'm gonna read. Or I'm not gonna watch TV that long, maybe half the time, and then I'm gonna read before bed. I love it. Do that. Or say, you know what, Sundays will be my either afternoon or evening hot bath time. Have it somewhere in your schedule. Write it down in your calendar. Because if not, it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. Maybe you want to do even, I just got this idea because I could see my yoga mat on the floor. maybe doing some really good stretches. I mean, if we're working from home, which I am more so than not, the lower back, the hips, everything kind of gets a little stiff. You want to do maybe a little yoga, or even some really deep stretches. Get some flexibility in there. You don't want to be so stiff, So I have my mat laid out just so I can walk over, do some stretches in the morning, and it feels good. It really does feel good. All right, so that's it. That's it for this week. I hope this has helped you. These are some of the things that I do. Actually, I do all of these things. And number one, I do not watch TV. So if you can try not to watch TV, I mean, any time of the day is bad. First thing in the morning, I don't even know why people do it, but they do. Or they end their day with watching it. My God, can you imagine what that does to your system? And then you have to try to go to sleep after watching like the horrible news. No, that's not. Why does your body need that? Your body doesn't need these added stressors by watching the news. I don't watch the news and I don't feel like I am missing out on anything. Honestly, I'm taking care of my vessel. I'm making me stay healthy so that I do not get sick or start to feel a little sore throat coming on, because you want to avoid getting sick. Even if it's not COVID, everybody freaks out. A little sore throat. People are running to get tested. I'm not saying that that's wrong, but let's avoid you even getting sick to begin with. And then you're not freaking out with your sympathetic nervous system on on overdrive. So that's it for this week. I hope you loved it. I hope this helps you. I hope that it keeps you from getting sick. I just want you to be at your best health right now. This time is probably the most important time to stay and be well. The most important time. Like, if it's ever been important, the time is right now. It's right now. No more McDonald's. No. Stop all of this fast food stuff. It's not good for you. It definitely isn't good. All the sugar, stop all that. Did you know that the minute you consume sugar, your immune system drops? It drops. And if you're eating sugar at work, if you're eating sugar, even this is even alcohol, wine, your immune system drops. So if there was a lingering little virus that your body was fighting and you don't know about it, something you were maybe at work or somebody had a cold or something, and your body is currently just fighting it, and then you give your body a bunch of alcohol or candy or brownies or cake, alcohol, wine, whatever it is, guess what happens? Your body, suddenly your immune system drops. You no longer can fight off this virus. Next day you're sick. Do you know how many times it's a weekend and I work on a Sunday? And do you know how many people come in? Oh my God, I have a sore throat. I think I have strep. Oh my God, I just woke up like this. Oh my God, I woke up with a fever. Oh my God, I have the worst, my lymph nodes in my neck, they're so sore. And I'd be like, okay, what did you do last night? Or were you out? Or 80% of the time, they're like, yeah, I went out drinking with my friends. I had a party in my house with a few people and we had too much to drink. I swear to God, I hear this all the time. Even college kids, everyone, college kids to adults, it's because your immune system drops. I forget for how long, for 30 minutes to an hour, you're susceptible to anything that's around you, anything and everything. Whatever your body was fighting at that time, moment in time, can no longer do it because you just consumed all this sugar and boom, it bottomed out. It can't do it right now. And then you get sick. So just keep that in mind. Healthy choices when it comes to food. All right. That's it for this week. I hope it was helpful. Wherever you are in the world, thank you so much for listening. Oh my God, I love that you come back every week. And I will talk to you all next week.